With so many games that continue to come out every single month, inevitably games get left by the wayside. However, there are a lot of underrated games with underrated soundtracks, and today I'd like to check out some of the soundtracks from some of these underrated games. Everhood is a crazy cool game. It's a rhythm game mixed in with elements from the story of Undertale. It's a really human story, and a phenomenal one at that, and the music is really exceptional. I had the pleasure of playing Everhood about a year ago, and it still lives in my head rent-free. In fact, I'm thinking it might be time for a second playthrough. Let's listen to Euthanasia Rollercoaster from this game. I love this motif here, it's so cool. What I really love about this particular piece, Euthanasia Rollercoaster, is that it really has this mix of hope and possibility and light, but also like this consequential feeling that like things are running out and time is running out. And so there's this interesting push and pull, because the first half is full of hope and the second half that we just sort of heard, there's a semblance of pain in there. It's a game that no one talks about, and Everhood is phenomenal. If you ever get the chance to play it, I really, really recommend that you do. Based on the questions I asked you about what are some underrated and underappreciated games, you referenced Katana Zero, which I haven't really heard much from, actually. So I'm curious to hear some of the music from Katana Zero. I don't know anything about this game. Let's listen to the title theme, Katana Zero. Love the beat pattern. Oh. Wow, that's really stylish. It's got this repetitive pattern thing, which is really satisfying. Reminds me of minimalism, but it's obviously building to something. I hope this builds to something. Like, if it's just this the whole time, that'd be kind of weird, but also very cool. I'd like to have it develop into like a melody here near the middle. I mean, it's a sick beat. I love this constant repetition. Here's a tonal shift. There it is. We're getting there. I love the mood of this, though. The mood in this is very, very, very like synthwave 1980s. We're just adding little layers too. So as this song continues, there's little things that make it more interesting each time. We're getting louder now. Oh, I hope we go somewhere. Waiting for this drop. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. We're getting a build up, we're getting a build up. Still love that we have this constant beat pattern. Please let there be a drop. I love that soundscape. It's a pretty layered track. Sounds like an alarm almost. So crunchy. That's pretty cool. And then a full pullback to bare bones. That's a fun beat pattern. The vibes were immaculate. What an awesome piece. I would have liked that to sort of build to another, like a more of a peak and have more of a beat drop. Maybe that's just like the soundscape that I'm used to. It's super good, and if it's all like this and it all has this synth wave, oh man, this game just bumped up. It's been on my list for a really long time, but that just bumped way up on my must play game list because that is oozing style. I actually have not seen anything about this game, but that is really cool. I don't necessarily think that that's a track that can stand on its own. However, I think that would be a sick track to study to really feel like you're like, I don't know, like 1980. I keep thinking of like Baby Driver, like Blade Runner style elements there. Next up on the list is a song in a game that no one really talks about. This is actually from Ciel, Nosurge. And if I recall correctly, and if you're in the comments, please let me know. But if I recall correctly, Ciel Nosurge is a sequel to Arcadia, but this is class Ciel underscore Nosurge semicolon, and I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to list all that out. This is by Akiko Shikata. It's composed and sung by Akiko Shikata. Yeah, it's exactly what I expected it to sound like. Holy shit. So pretty pullback, much more elegant. Some Japanese instrumentation there. Back to this beautiful soundscape here. It's got a lot of dynamic shifts here. It's really interesting because there's a lot happening. It's elegant and also forceful at the same time. Her singing is so honest. Whoa. Again, we have power. and drive. So guttural from the chest. It almost feels like it would belong in Monster Hunter or something. Now we're back to stretched out lyrics singing. Really innocent sound now, especially that lilt that we're getting. Wow. This is a real journey in this piece. She slid up. Doubling in the strings there with the vocals. And then we slow down and we lower the volume slightly. But we still have the percussiveness in the drums. As we... Wow. What an insane journey. Just the strum of the guitar or whatever mixed in with the vocals repeating the same notes. I mean, what an intense track. I mean, the crazy thing is that this whole thing is basically this wild journey, essentially, of discovery. And what ends up happening is the first half, we have this really contemplative idea. We're like looking out at the vista, thinking about like what it means to be alive. And then we're thrust into some sort of battle with ourselves almost. We are sprung into action. And there's a bit of almost this duality that occurs, which is why we get that really intense, crunchy and lower registered singing, where it's almost it's this idea of Sprechstimme, which is something I've talked about in other videos. But Sprechstimme is essentially intoning or singing on one note. I am speaking today because I am doing this video, therefore this is intoning. But obviously you can put that on different pitches, and especially in the middle section, that was a really fast 5 minutes, but around minute 240, that's where we really get that this lower quality, and that causes such a visceral sense of almost like in the belly of there's a raw quality in that. Also, the instrumentation is so interesting because we're using traditional Japanese instrumentation, which really feels rooted in history. There's a real quality in that of it trying to root us despite us leaving the home. It almost feels like that soundscape, the Japanese soundscape, is an anchor point for us, so that then we are always tethered to where we belong, which is why we circle back to it near the end of the piece, and then ended with those drums as they sort of symbol us and symbol to us that we are invited to come back home. I mean, what an intense piece, and again, no one really talks about or knows. And that particular piece is a continued reminder of why our Nosurge and our Tonelico are two game series that are totally different from anything that typically exists in the gaming sphere and in the gaming world, and deserve to be listened to. Akiko Shikada's voice is madness, and it's the range that this person has is absolutely wild. Rain World is another one that really comes up quite a bit, and honestly, I don't know where to start when it comes to listening to any of the music from this game. One of the titles that intrigued me was Urban Jungle, so let's listen to this and check it out. So we're starting off nice and quiet. There's a real emptiness, and it really feels like almost like we're watching something like track in the distance, looking for us, or looking for... It's getting louder. It's like we're not alone. Yeah, super like a droid or something. This is so interesting. It's a lot more like ambient music where we're listening to something, we're almost like seeing an uncovering of a landscape. Like, it's called urban jungle, so I'm picturing like a dark city at night. It's not an inviting place, but it's interesting how we have this low drone. None of this is really welcoming, though. I certainly think it's music. There we go. We're getting this beat pattern. Dum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum bum ba-dum ba-dum. It's still telling us a story. It's still telling us like where we are. I would love for it to go somewhere and have like a real melody, which it doesn't. I don't believe it will. But that doesn't take away from the fact that that alarm, the ambulance sound, like I still feel like we're in a cityscape. Oh, wait. That's cool, because there's a slight melody in there. Some melody right there. Yeah, you really feel like this bleakness in here, huh? Well, I hope you're still with me. That, you know, honestly, that actually was really impressive because the whole thing is about like living. I'm just going to riff off of what I heard, but this whole piece gives me the sensation of living in a world that is bearing down on me and I have nowhere to turn. And so I turn into my imagination. And that's what we hear with a little bit of that melody near the middle end. We get this sense of like, what is life? What is the purpose of what am I here for? And then over top of that, you get the sounds of the urban jungle. You get the sounds of the city. You know, you're minding your own business and you hear an ambulance run past the door or what, and you're left with this feeling of like, man, what is this whole life? Like, what is my purpose here? Why am I here? It was weird because on the one hand, I found myself getting antsy and I wanted this piece to be done. And on the other hand, I thought it was really deep. It's another one of these pieces where I think you could study to it and it would be really efficient use of your time to have this on. It also provides a sense of thoughtfulness on life itself. I know that sounds really big and maybe esoteric and maybe, I don't know, excessive, but there's a real sound in there of there's got to be more to it than this, you know? Hylics 2 is a game that I literally know nothing about. In fact, I don't even know what track to pick, but Xeno Arcadia sounds like fun, so let's listen to this. That's funky. That's like funky, I like it. It's like kind of sad. It almost sounds like whining, kind of. I like that. Oh! Is this jazz even? There is some really nice bass in here. Oh, thank God, I thought that was it. I'm actually vibing to this so hard. It's like so chill under the surface. We're getting a lot of vibey music in this particular episode. It is a bit somber, especially the way that this melody is. Ba 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 da do, you know? Like, that's not like thrilled, you know what I mean? I love this. Listen to that bass line underneath, yeah? Wow. That whole thing is a vibe. That whole thing is exceptionally fun. I would have liked maybe more of a swell, but again, I think I'm looking for something different when I listen to these tracks. All these tracks have been mood tracks, which is a totally valid way to create and compose music. What a fun experience to listen to that. It's fun, it's satisfying, it's a bit somber, but it also provides you with a bit of like a slow down and chill lick to it. I find that extremely pleasant, and now I want to go and check out what the hell Hylics 2 is all about. Bastion is the first of the Supergiant games, and I have to say, a lot of people don't talk about it. They also don't really talk about Pyre, and they also don't really talk about Transistor. But Bastion has one of the coolest soundtracks that they've put out, and actually I prefer it to something like Hades. And this particular track, Wharf to Wilds, has really blown me away, and I've heard it before, and I hope you enjoy it. I love the intensity in the drums here. Sounds like horns in the background too. Yeah, got some trumpet in there. I love the intensity with which we're playing in the guitar as well. Obviously we get that Western soundscape. You get a Western soundscape in there, but it just continues to swell and increase in volume and size, and then it pulls back just with this beat. And that's it. It's a really short track with a little bit of ambiance between both sections. I love the way I feel when I hear this song. I really feel like this is the type of song you can play at the gym. There's an inherent quality in there of like moving forward, moving through obstacles, getting what you need to get done, and then going home. I really love that soundscape, and it's so incredibly fun to listen to. Next up is Every Day is Night from VA11 Hall A, or I guess Valhalla. It's a cyberpunk bartender action game, I guess. Oh my god. Oh. Holy crap. Love this beat pattern. Oh man, this melody. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, the stank on that sax. I don't care if it's synthesized. It is such a vibe. Again, all these tracks are just absolute vibes. It's so different from everything I'm used to hearing too, which is really cool. And it's a big loop, but that is extremely fun to listen to. I just accidentally went to the next track. Well, I like what I hear though. I can't help myself. It's short. Oh, please go somewhere. Yes, kind of. Man, I cannot believe how many amazing songs I'm listening to. That is awesome. That's so cool. I have no idea where any of this stuff kind of fits in. But again, in terms of ambiance and mood setting, there's been 4 tracks on this particular episode that we've listened to that I'm like, wow. They stand on their own, or they're like interesting. You can put them on in the background. They like kind of just sit in a place that's so much fun. The Trial series is not one that is extremely popular, I would say. The Legend of Hero Trails. Sora no Kiseki, Trails in the Sky, The Legend of Heroes. There's like 13 games in there, but honestly, I don't hear them like really talked about except for like a super niche group. And I'm really intrigued to hear this. So this is a Silver Will, one of the battle themes. Call and response, mirroring. Some nice pattern in the back. You got a nice build up. Oh, I love the shortness of that. It's like it's full of heart. You really feel like this is a battle, but one that we know we can win because the power of friendship or something. I like that we're repeating the melody in that violin so that we really get the sense of what this is. We're locked into it too. Random shift, okay. Man, so much synth in this episode. Some drums in the background too. I gotta be honest with you, that's not exactly my favorite. It felt like I wanted it to embellish itself and have more variety in there. It felt a bit repetitive, like we were repeating the same patterns multiple different times. The other thing that I found really actually quite nice about this piece was how honest it feels. There's a real sense in there of like wanting to like really come to terms with the battle ahead, right? And really lock into the idea that like we have to do this. And we get this all the time in battle themes when it comes to video game music. The sense of like forward momentum, of course we hear that here. The sense of drive and the sense of, you know, like, come on, you got this. That really comes through by all means. I think the synth sound element was starting to grate on me slightly. It felt a little bit bland at parts, but I really do appreciate how emotional the piece is and how driven it is, and also how melody forward the piece is. I think that's there too. 3 minutes can be very fast or it can be very long, and in this particular case it started to feel quite long for me. I don't actually know the numbers, but I don't know that a lot of people have played Trails in the Sky. It's certainly, like, I started playing actually part 1, the very first one, because I've been really curious. I love a good JRPG. There seems like there's kind of a tough barrier to entry because there's so many games to play through and get through, so I could imagine that this would be really steep as opposed to something like Final Fantasy or I don't know, some other game, some other JRPG that's a little bit more, maybe Dragon Quest, something you can kind of just hop into. Next is Untamed Heart from Klonoa. Klonoa feels like it's been around for like a really long time, but I don't know anything about it. The church bells. Okay. The buzzing of a fly. Where are we going with this? There's definitely a jazz element in here. Sounds like a little bit of almost an organ sound quality. Nice and slow. You hear the heartbeat in the Untamed Heart. Man, this is so 90s. Comes in here. It almost feels like a lullaby, or like a passionate plea almost. Like after a long fall day, watching the sunset almost, you know? Jazz chord in there. Oh, this piano is actually amazing. Again, we've never lost that heartbeat in here too. A lot of false chords, a lot of 7s and 9s, I think. We reset. Again, we have this ambient track that has a bit of melody in it, but it's mostly a feeling. I'm kind of surprised that this is where everything has kind of landed this whole episode. Obviously, this one was a bit more melodically driven near the middle. I liked a lot of the jazz chords, sort of deceptive moves where you think it was going to go somewhere and then it didn't. There's a big sense here of resting for me after like a long day, but also like this constant heartbeat, almost like Untamed, like this sense that there's more to be discovered and more to achieve and more to arrive at. Jeffrey Day actually made Hunting with Style from Viscerafest Chapter 2. I heard this track not too long ago and it blew my socks off. So I want to listen to that with you. From a game called Viscerafest. Such an amazing mix here. So good. I love the sense of power. Sense of like hunting with style, like stalking your prey and really going for it. It's sick. I love the fast rhythm in there. The sense of being a pursuit in that music with the ferocity and with the determination. It's a phenomenal track to listen to at the gym. And man, I feel like I've just sort of started to uncover all these underrated games that, or maybe like slightly less popular games that have these tracks that are melodic, ambient at the same time, And I feel like we're just scratching the surface when it comes to discovering more music. And if you want to share music from an underrated game, I would love that so much. So please drop those suggestions in the comments, and then I'll happily make a second or third or fourth or fifth video celebrating and showcasing music from underrated games that you feel need more love. I know I didn't cover Limbus Company on here. I know I didn't cover a few others that came to mind. Spiritfarer was on there as well that I wanted to look at. A couple others that I'd never heard of before. So definitely drop those in the comments below. Thanks a ton, and I'll see you later. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.